Welcome. If you're here, you want to discover the unbelievable easy way to reconnect with yourself in 21 days by shifting your identity. And I love talking about this because I literally created this identity shift challenge to help you day by day to shift and live your future self now. And I want to explain this concept of shifting your identity because a lot of time when we talk about shifting identity, people think that is about, embodying this alter ego. A friend of mine told me that even Beyonce had this alter ego that is Sasha Grey, which was the super confident, the sassy, this superstar that she was like embodied, tried to act like if she was this other person in order to grow her career. And this is more the concept of fake it till you make it, while I like more the concept of embody it until you live it. So where you start embodying already the person that you want to be. And a lot of time that is not a new person. It's not about becoming someone else. It's more about removing all the layers that we had in our childhood, in the traumas, in like between childhood and adulthood. Unfortunately, there are so many traumas that happen. And this being is what runs 95% of your results in every area. I talk specifically about business, but same in fitness and in relationship. Doing only runs 5% of these results, while the other 95% is driven by your being, which is a mix of your nervous system and your identity. That is why I talk a lot about this. And again, somewhere between childhood and adulthood, you lost yourself, but you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. I took a break because unfortunately parents has always a huge responsibility in this. And no parent is perfect. One way or the other, we all had some trauma from parents. What a lot of women call the daddy issue, and a lot of men have the mommy issues. In one way or the other, our parents are the first two people that impacted our growth. And usually, somewhere in our childhood, usually between 4 and 8, something traumatic happened to us that our ego and our identity choose a specific behavior to make us feel safe. Sometimes maybe stay silent, not tell your truth because it's dangerous. Be the nice person, be fake so people love you and no one will put you in danger. And maybe these kind of behaviors has helped us back then, but when we grow up, this same behavior has been the core of the way that we acted. And if it's not something that happened in childhood, sometimes can happen in our teenagers years when we had traumas from our relationship, from our bosses, our first jobs, our colleagues. Unfortunately, any of these trauma gets stored in our subconscious and it creates some kind of behavior that is not us. And a lot of time is more than one trauma that goes one on top of each other. And what we're doing with identity shifting, a lot of time is just removing all of those different layers to really get to the core of who you are. That's why a lot of the time I talk about identity reconnecting. So it's more about reconnecting and remembering who you really are. And who am I to say this? My name is Bruno Chinedu Morris. And Chinedu is the Nigerian name that I finally started to reclaim when I started to do this identity shifting challenge. And very shortly, my story is that the old me in 2018 used to think that it was not good enough. That the only thing that I could do was delivering pizza. In fact, this was me in London with this huge backpack behind me, delivering pizza after my 9 to 5 job just to pay bills. And because I thought I was not good enough to do anything else and get paid this €6 per hour. And even the tip, I remember once someone gave me a €5 tip and I felt I was not good enough to receive that tip. Until 2022, when I generated the first $1 million in my business. And what changed was mainly my identity. I really reconnected with who I really am and to the core of my mission, which is being a business and spiritual leader for people. In this case was more my business leader, while only recently I reconnect with my spiritual leadership. And it was a process. This transformation took me 4 years in total. But let's break it down because there were many specific transformations. As first, I've 10x my freedom and went from commuting 9 to 5, depressed and weed addicted, to become a free digital nomad, happy and travel addicted. And what helped me to make this transformation, it was implementing high performance habits, visualization, and an identity shift. Then in 2020, I 10x my income. This took me 1 year. I went from 3K a month inconsistently to 41K per month consistently, $500,000 a year. And I put a screenshot there of my revenue just to not to impress you, just to impress upon you that it's possible. I went from done for you to done with you, using more strategies to teach people what I'm doing. I'm doing it with them. Same thing that I'm doing right now with this identity challenge. And from one to one to many, doing videos and trainings exactly like this one. But the main thing that helped me to do this was having implementing 6-figure systems, hiring the right mentor, and having an identity shift. And finally, in 2021, this took me only 6 months. I went from 61 success stories to 130 success stories. In this period, we were getting about 10 to 20 clients every month. We went from testing different strategies to double down on what took me to 6 figures. And I went from working in the business to become a CEO and work on the business. And the three main things that helped me was having a team and automation, having SOP, standard operator procedures to follow, and finally having an identity shift. So how did I 10x my income, impact, and freedom in 4 years? What was the main driver in common for me to be the future you now? Was the identity shift. And it actually took me years to understand this. And only in the last few years in my coaching business, I really focus on this identity shift. And because my last intention was to give more, I decided to give this identity shift challenge for free. As I kept optimizing this process, where it took me 4 years to do this transformation. On the right, I also did a physical transformation. From here, being a bit chubby, not very strong, not super fit, and in 75 days to be super fit, very strong in my energy, but also in my body. And after keep working on this for years, I realized that in reality there are exactly 21 steps to have an identity shift fast. And that is where I decided to create this identity shift challenge. As I personally learned that I will never outperform the way that I see myself. So I decided to create this step by step to shift your identity and live your future self right now. So here is the exact prompt that I want to use. I want you to use to start your own 21 days transformation. In the next 21 days, I'm becoming the version of myself who, fill the blank, and I choose this because, fill the blank. And it's very important to understand who you're becoming and your why. If you're struggling with the why, I recommend one exercise that I learned from Tony Robbins that is about the 7 levels of why. As the first why that you might say will come from your mind, but if you ask yourself why, you start to go deeper. And ask yourself why again, and you go deeper. And ask yourself why 7 times, you're going to go deeper and start talking from the heart instead of the mind. Then you want to say, commit to showing up every day as if this is already true. And I trust that the universe, my higher self, and the energy of the full moon are aligning to make it real. I put full moon here because I recommend to start this at the full moon cycle. So if you haven't started it yet, we can start it together in the next full moon cycle. Fill in those blanks from your heart. Be honest, be bold, and read it out loud to yourself every single day for the next 21 days. So this is your prompt for the day 1 of the challenge. In my Instagram, I'm running it for free right now. This is a summary of what we're going to do. But if you want the step-by-step of exactly what's happening every day, first, follow me on Instagram, Bruno Morris Identity Shifting. And second, text me Identity Shifting Challenge on Instagram. And I'll send you the document breaking down every day exactly what we're doing. But in a summary, those are the three phases. Phase one is about releasing the old self. Phase two is about activating the new self. And phase three is about embody and integrate, about really becoming and embodying that new person. So again, I'm not gonna break it down in this video. That's gonna be in a separate document. Just write me identity shifting challenge on Instagram, and I will send you the document of exactly each day what we're doing. Quick testimonial is Max Wheeling, one of my favorite clients that achieved a 132K a month. He was part of my Reborn program, where we go from identity shifting to building your business in a way that you become the CEO. But I like this transformation because not only he achieved the 132K a month, but he also lost a lot of weight, 35 kilos in 3 months. And I like this because it proved that every business growth comes also with a personal growth. If you feel called, I invite you to join this journey with me. And the first step, start from this identity shifting challenge that we can do together. See you the other side.